Okay. Stream starting soon. Oh, finally. Intermission. So that looks better. Finally, sorry for that. As always, if I'm making live streams, something has to go wrong. So light is on and we are ready. We have a viewer. Hey, nice to see you. We are ready. Just checking the sound. Perfect. Good. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's session. And I have a little bit of a plan how I want to go further. And until now, we have not finished one project yet, but I want to start this week to manage it and to get something done. And I have actually 3 topics that I would like to do. And hey, MA, nice to see you. And as you see, I don't have so much Christmas stuff, so we have a tree today for us. And I want to use the first time the board behind me. And let's see how we can do that. Hopefully you can still hear me, and I hope that is working well. I tested that, but you never know, right? So today I want to do a little bit of a topic, or one of the topics that we can talk about. And first of all, I would like to take a look into null safety. That would be fantastic if we can do that. So, because until now I didn't have the chance to take a look into it. The second possible point that we can do, and I would like to discuss that with you so you can vote later, would be to create a new project or work on the Flutter website further. So Flutter website or a new project. I'm calling work because at the moment the one thing that I forgot was to fix the Qubit package. If you remember, I made a get it mixins package. Because as you maybe remember, I had a video for get it mixins, which I took down now. And unfortunately, I made there a big mistake, so it didn't work. Hey Taha, how are you? Interrupting the connection, or I hope everything works. Let me check once more in the stream. No, that looks good. All right. Yeah, so these are the 3 possible ways that we have, and currently I would just suggest that we go from top to the bottom. If you have some ideas in the meantime, please let me know and we can change that. And now I would say, let's get started. Right, so I just open the window quickly, get some air. Good, and now, here we go. Let's get into it. So I have a lot of light here. I just take one down. I hope that's okay still. Oh, it's getting dark, but let's see. All right. Let me switch to my view. So gameplay, here we go. Okay, and I will put on my headphones so I can hear also something. Ah, beautiful. All right, as you can see, I already prepared some stuff. I opened IntelliJ in my case, and I started with GitHub. And let's take a look into null safety. The thing is, I didn't have a chance to take anything inside. How I am doing? Well, I finished now a lot of projects in the last couple of weeks, and I'm feeling very well, I have to be honest with you, because I have now again a bit time to concentrate on the stuff that I really care about, like YouTube. And yeah, so it's pretty good. How about you? I mean, at the moment for us in Germany, it's getting a bit tougher again because we have now again a full lockdown. So yeah, back to the basics, right? Back to the roots. Okay, null safety. So 2 things that I would like to do therefore. First, I have to switch the keyboard. So let's assume I don't have any clue what null safety is. And thanks to the Perfect Dark team, we have a lot of documentation about that. But also what we have is a very good Medium article, I think, in the, here. And as you see, Philip created there with Michael Thompson together a very great article that I would like to go... You can't see the screen. Why can you not see the screen? Why is it not updating? Is it now working? Yeah, way better. Is something new at you, Taha? How's it working with your with the Flutter GitHub project? Are there any news? I think that is too high. So I promised myself today to take my time. If I don't want to be too fast. So if you have anything to say there, I take my time. Firebase push notification is not stable with iOS, and I have to do something about the chat because it's a bit unfortunate that it's so far on the left. So give me a second. Crazy Monday. Why so? No, I don't have any recommendations, unfortunately, Firebase push notifications. I'm not that aware of that project at the moment, but what we could do is, if we check the Flutter Fire, I think, they have like a crazy good website with all this stuff. And I guess cloud messaging would be the push notifications, is that right? I don't even know. Cloud Firestore, I guess. Let's have a look. Messaging. Yeah, so this sends messages to any device. So I guess this is the one. How do you like Navigator 2.0? Yeah, it's very complex. I found it the same way. The good thing is it separates the layer very nicely. So the Navigator has now the benefit that you directly see the different points, which I really like. But on the other hand, I find to implement it, it is currently way too over-engineered somehow. So for a normal user to create just a transition from one page to another, it feels a little bit too heavy to start with. And I guess a lot of people have the same feeling at the moment. I guess Remy was writing something about that and said that he wants to create something on its own for the navigation. But yeah, at the moment, I like the specification because it's clear what you have to do and what you have to create, but it creates a lot of boilerplate. So I guess in the near future, we will see like a package or something that will wrap the whole thing. But I don't know. It's just a feeling at the moment. Yes, I plan to make a video about that, but at the moment I have plans that on this Tuesday, so tomorrow, there will be a video about best practices. I don't know if you remember, I made a tweet there and we got a lot of answers, and I tried to order them a little bit and get them with a lot of talking inside. And after that, I wanted to go into Christmas break, so that will be, we have the newest videos then in the next year first. So maybe at the, I don't know, 1 week after in January or something. So that was my plan at the moment. But let's see, maybe it's getting earlier. So I hope today the sound and the music is not that loud anymore, and I also enhanced my voice even further. So I hope you can hear me now sound and clear, not in the last live stream where I get a lot of negative feedback for that. Okay, but back to Dart null safety. So what is Dart null safety? I think a lot of people have talked already about that. That means we don't have to make null checks anymore. We just assume that everything cannot be null. And Dart is assuming that, and that's make it null sound. That makes it sound null safety. So that means it will directly show in the editor if something is null and cannot be null or should not be null. A bit too loud. Thank you, Thomas. I will check that out. So, trying to put myself a little bit loud, silenter. Okay. Just the ratio to the music has to be there because I'm very afraid that up. Let's turn that down. So Maybe so. Okay. So exactly. So that means Dart is 100% sure that the files list and the elements in it cannot be null in the above example. Soundness of Dart null safety has another welcome implication. It means your program can be smaller and faster. Okay. So I think we all know that, but how do we start actually with null safety in Flutter? As far as I've known, or as far as I've heard, Flutter null safety is now in beta. So I guess if we check out the beta branch of Flutter, we will have null safety implemented. So I'm migrating to null safety. Let's try that. Describe how and when to migrate your code to null safety. Here are the basic steps for migrating each package that you own. Okay, so we can do that. Wait to merge. Flutter channel beta. Yeah, so we have to be at least on 2.12 beta. Okay, and then we can check all the updated to null safety. So this is also there as a migration path. So if you have an app that exists already and you want to make it null safety, this is the way to go. Okay, so what I will start first is opening up a terminal. So, and let's have a look. So bring that into center, make it a bit larger. So I hope you can read now. And Flutter channel, and as always we switch to beta, and with that we should be on channel beta. And I forgot again to download it already, so we will see a small loading animation now. Okay, Flutter upgrade, and we get the newest version. So in the meantime, we can read here a little bit further. So this is to get the upgraded packages. We can update the dependencies. As you see, we have now this minus null safety behind, and on pub.dev, if we check here and we search for any package, so for example, what is null safe already, I search just for all packages, and if we go here up on advanced, we have now supports null safety flag, and with that you can now search for all the packages that have null safety. And as you see, for example, provider or URL launcher are already with null safety possibilities. So if we search, for example, for image, we find the crop, and as you see, the crop has also a null safety package already, which is pretty good. I mean, there are already quite some parts of it. Is the animation package, for example, from Google already transitioned? That would be something that I'm interested in. Is it not animation? Funas, lightweight, supercharge, velocity X is already null safe, right? No, but it seems that the animation package is not. Yeah, this guy. So I think that was implemented from the Flutter teams to create some cool animations everywhere, but here we don't have yet null safety. Will we see one? Is there already an issue for that? I guess that will be part of the Flutter release, because as you see, it's part of the Flutter part here. And if I search for animations, null, let's have a look. Animation, no, I think they have still too much to work on the old packages or on the Flutter framework with null safety, I guess. Yeah. Cool. But yeah, so this null safety will show you if a package is already on null safety or not. Most of the changes that your code needs to be null safety are easily predictable. Okay, so that makes sense. So if we need, if we want to have something that could be null, we add a question mark in front of it. Suffix, yeah. For use a migration tool. Oh, cool. So we have something that can help us to switch there. Or what I would like to do, because I have a Flutter project, if you remember, my Buy Me a Coffee would be one, but the other one is the electric app. How did I call it? Power? didn't work a long time with it, so let's have a look what we have here. Plugins, basic, Dart, screen, travel, flash, Bitcoin. Geez, I have a lot. I thought I have some package that is there. Let's have a look. Flutter profile calculator. No, it's not one of the newest. Storyblock navigation, Flutter tutorials, Spotter over. I don't know anymore how the project was named. That's sad. But that would be a project that we really could very well translate into null safety, because I had a lot of code inside of it. And I think that would be worth to create some testing and so on. And I think that makes sense to migrate it also. Future Builder, Dart, L18N, blah blah blah, Climber, Flutter, Quizler. It needed to be at the beginning of the December, so this is in 12th December. Screen rotation, Dart. These are all the stuff from Flutter Translate, Flutter Travel to Do. Can I filter that by private repositories? Is that possible? Oh yeah, it is. So let's have a look here. Travel, business. No, it's not an article reader. None of them is the right one. Huh, interesting. Ah, wait, I have an organization. Maybe it's part of the organization. No, also not. Interesting. So this is how you lose your projects if you don't work a long time into it. That's actually sad, I have to admit. So yeah, I create for everything a repo. That's the problem, I guess, because everything that I do, like for example business plan, if I write something for my work, I create an own project for that and just update that one. It could be like a to-do list for me, you know. I really like that actually, but why do I have so many repos? Now I have a problem. Flutter calculator, Redux, get it tutorial. What have I created here? I guess this is the Jingo article reader. Yep, travel to Flutter. That is the repository from me and Mahtab, I guess. Is it? Could be. Then we have that and the last one. No, I guess none of them is correct. So is it a public repository? What I could check is I have a Google Play Store, and here we have the is it the Play Store? No, the Play Console, I guess. So where we deploy the things. And I think I had at CodeMagic, I have a build pipeline for that running. So I guess we will find there something. Create a new dev account, that wouldn't make sense. Up. Nah. So if you have never been on the on this one, this Play Console will show you all the applications that you have developed or more that you have deployed and delivered onto the App Store. So let's see, more text. Electric Calculator is the name. Interesting, so the electric calculator I don't have on the GitHub. I have made already a okay, I made a live stream already about it, so I think I should have here. It's the Dart coins. That's not correct. Huh. Okay, in the meantime, I can check maybe once more the GitHub part, where I search for the electric calculator. Can I search for my own repositories? None. The Flutter explained calculator. That is impossible. It's impossible that I don't have the code somewhere. I got it. Yep, I got it. Okay, the problem is that I have that on space. And this is for, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So if you don't know space, that is okay. That is from JetBrains, a tool where I have all my projects running. And I hope I can just do this. Yeah, cool. So, and if you check out here, this is like a repository for all the projects that are internally of my workplace. So on my private workplace, more or less. And here we can get the repositories. And that is the reason we couldn't find it on GitHub. Okay, that was a little bit sad. So, but with that, we can get that from VCS. And I clone that. I didn't really swap from Android Studio to IntelliJ because it's like the same thing. I just opened it up now in IntelliJ. I have like all the tools installed locally, so that we can also switch to Android Studio and Visual Studio. I'm open for everything, so we can discuss that. If you want to have the other one, I'm more than happy to change. Hey Stefan, nice to see you. Hope you are well. I have that window a little bit too large, I guess. So now I see also how many people are in the chat. Hey, 14 people are watching how I search my own PRs. So why didn't it clone? That's a bit weird. Okay, let's check Android Studio. Maybe we have here more luck. It could be that the SSH does not recognize anymore. All right, enjoy the work. So let's clone the project up and clone. Not permitted, unauthorized. Okay, so this is a problem with SSH in my case. So let's switch to HTTPS, clone again and get it. Today it's meh. Can I set up anything without showing now everything? Okay, well what I will do is I quickly will swap to another possibility. So, like that, sorry. And I will quickly do the whole setup stuff with secrets and everything so that I can work with the SSH key. And I said to you, I don't will stress today, so everything that I do will take its time, I guess. So add an SSH key. I can maybe stream that also, how I create an SSH key, because that is a question that most of the time comes by. SSH will identify your computer with the tool that you are using. So for example, here in Space or in GitHub, you have the possibility to use these SSH part up here. And SSH actually is a large code that you create on your machine. You will get a public and a private key, and you will share the public key with the website so that it can connect with your computer by checking against the private key that is locally installed at your place. So for that, you can go, I have a lot of different SSH keys for my different computers. And as you see down here on GitHub, you will find this link for connecting with GitHub SSH. So now I would like to share this link with you. And for that, I will go to YouTube quickly. And I guess, yep, my own stream is here. So don't talk too much and send the link. And I think I will keep that somehow so that we can I? Yeah, cool. So now we have that always in the front part. Right click, and this is called sticky tab. I really like that from Firefox. I think Chrome does it too. We can check that actually. No. Okay, you cannot. Good. Anyway, so now we want to create an SSH key. For that I go to GitHub usually because they makes it very easy, and we are on a Mac in our case. So this is telling us that we should go to the home directory on SSH. So if I'm opening up a terminal, we can go to / guess like that. And if we so cd./ssh, and no, it's not here, lsal. So with that we list all the parts. Yeah, it's a bit weird, I guess. No, the folder is SSH. So this shows all the different files, and as you see we have already an SSH key created here inside, but I want to create a new one. Check the directory listing the default have public SSH key. Okay, public key, private key, or wish to use that are available. Okay, so we can even use the default ones. Okay, so for that I go into the home directory like here with Command-Shift dot on a Mac. You will find all the different invisible files, and one of them is this SSH here. And if you jump inside, we can see that we have like config, we have this ed2519, and we have one pub file and one no file. And I guess the no file was the private key, and the pub file is your public key. So, oops, sorry for that. I'm here still active somehow at my workplace. That shouldn't be happening. Okay, but now we have the possibility to open them up, and if we do so, we have here the text editor, and this is now the private key, and here we have our public key. Yes, is that correct? Yeah, I guess so. No, this was, let me check. Begin open private key. Yep, so this is the private key and this is the public key. Yeah. And in order to use that, you can just copy that, bring it over here and show it, and with that you connect that. The problem is now that I showed the public key and with the private key, and with that everyone could hack more or less my computer. So the idea that I have is now to delete both of them and we have to create a new public key. So how do we do that? Generate a new SSH key. So we open up our terminal, we paste this part down below. And this ed here, this is just the name of the file that you will create. So as you see, I created it once, this is that part, but now we will have to recreate that. And for that, I will just enter here the email address that I use usually for, that was the wrong key. So we create here, that is flutterexp@gmail.com. And with that, we create our private and public key pair. So the first thing is asking us where we want to save the key, and that is correct. And now we enter a passphrase, and this one will be my default one. And I enter it again, and here we go. So with that, we get a key fingerprint. We have this random art image, that is all fine. And if I close that off, we can see that the files are created again. So let's have a look. Here is our public key, fantastic. And we go here and add an SSH key. And we have the comment, this is just where it comes from. So this is my explained MacBook Pro. It's just to identify that this SSH key is connected with my MacBook. Okay, so far so good. So now if I go to Android Studio, because it should directly understand that this Android, it will take the files from the .ssh and will implement them here inside. So we should be able now to clone our project. So let's have a look. Go here, check out the repositories. Go here inside, we clone again. and we get it inside. Still not permitted, okay. Could not read from remote repository, unauthorized SSH. Okay, maybe we have to add SSH add. Yes, so we have to add that to our key agent, and now we are identified. So I try it once more. Ah, this looks way better. Okay, we open it up in this window and we run flutter get. Good, so, and now we see this is the, I don't know if you have ever seen it, so I quickly started. This is currently on the beta branch of Google Play, and I have to be honest, I never finished up that project. Maybe this is one thing that we can do today or in the next couple of days. Like finishing up one project of me, that would be something. Because I'm very bad with side projects, and I think we all are. It's like, maybe I should create like a proper idea and maybe also like a business plan and like what we have to do still, and make a Scrum meeting with you guys, and then we all vote on points of the stories. I think that could be pretty funny. Yo, Alistair, what's up? What's up? I watched yesterday again the scene from Scary Movie where they all sitting on the phone and starting to cry, what's up? Buffering? Really? Let me check the stream. YouTube empfängt why? Okay, thank you for letting me know. Huh. Okay. So am I back? Ah, yeah. No, it's not your connection, it was on my side, I guess. So hopefully it is again back. Analyzes, here's all good. Ah, I know why. It could be because we download a lot of iOS profiles down here, as you can see. So sorry for that. The stream is you cannot see that very well. I have to move my picture. So let's go. I understand. So don't worry, the stream will be back in a sec, I guess, because we are downloading iOS stuff here. And I can't put myself down here. And then we will move that iPhone a little bit up. So something like that. So I destroyed my internet connection at the moment. It will take a second, I'm sorry. It's better now, all right. So hopefully the download will be finished in a sec and then it should work. Okay, but then I would like to transform or migrate this package here into null safety. It's all okay. It takes a lot to create a production ready app thing. That is true, yeah. Yeah, I think also the point is that you are afraid of feedback, or for my case it is like that. I don't want to show anything and I don't want to publish anything. It's like the membership project, membership project for YouTube. I'm so afraid that nobody really, I don't know, cares about it so as much as I do, and so I don't really publish it because I don't know, it has a bad feeling with it. And I think the same thing belongs to this Flutter project that I created. I don't want to publish it because I'm just afraid that I get feedback from people and I have to defend it. So you can see the logs, that is perfect. And I move that away. Stream is move. Perfect. All right, so the pod files are out of date. This can cause issues. Okay, that makes sense. To regenerate the pod files, run rm ios pod files. All right, I love that. We'll do that. So rm. So this keyboard, I guess. Yeah. iOS. What was the name? Pod. iOS pod file. Pod file. Okay, with that we deleted a file here inside. I don't know if the pod file log should be also deleted, and we will restart quickly the app. So the idea of this app was very basic, because here in Germany we still have old electric power meters everywhere. So we have to enter all the information by hand, more or less, and I have to calculate. And what I did all the time was going down in the basement, entering the numbers on the machine. And I was like, in the beginning I was doing it with Excel all the time, but then I said, I have to calculate everything and how much money I have to pay for it and so on and so forth. I was super lazy and didn't do it, and currently I'm set it on German somehow, because unit rate per kWh, or German English, I think the translation is not correct, so perfect. Good points for improvement. So, but we can change here the provider name. So this is our power supplier in that we can enter, so it's our power supplier. Then standing charge per month. So this is you pay a monthly fee, like $8.80 or something per month. So this is like a standing fee. So we enter that, and unit rate per kWh. I think that makes sense. So it's, for my sense, it's 23 cents, I guess, something like that. And then we can enter any power meter reading. That is the first one. With using a timer that wastes the user time. Sure, why not? So if you want to waste the user's time, it doesn't sound like a very good idea, or more like an anti-pattern, but yeah, you can do that. So this is the first enters that you have on the power meter. And as you can see, for us, this is two numbers, because we have in Germany HT and NT, and one is day power and the other one is night power. So in my case, we have 5,000 and let's say 10,000 in the night. The night power is usually cheaper because yeah, the factories and so don't work. And this looks still a bit broken, because why is this? No. Okay, so somehow the state update has not been performed in the first time. But as you see now, we have the standing charge, we have the unit price, and these are the total costs for the whole year. So we don't have any action, so we didn't have used any power this year. This is just the basic unit fee, but this is wrong, right? Oh, I'm... Huh? Look at that, another bug. So fantastic. The standing charge is of course the $8.80 per month, and its cent per kilowatt is 23.80. So update, yeah, way better. And is this correct? Let's see if I made not everything wrong. Times 12, yeah, 105 euro. All right. So if we enter now a new power meter reading, like 505 with a nightly one of 10,050, something like that, and we enter that, you can see the first reading and the second reading. We have a little statistic that shows like the increasement, if there is any. Privacy policy, yeah, I think privacy policy is a huge topic at the moment. And I managed somehow to lose energy. So I guess, did I made a writing mistake? So what we can do is removing it, and we can undo it. my little game here. So, but what I don't understand, if I do this and 10,500 and add this, That should be absolutely more, right? But somehow it reduces the energy that we used. Interesting. So I think there is another bug. Maybe it's not good to make that a production ready app yet. But anyway, so these are the possibilities. More is not there. We have a dark mode, a light mode. We have like a licensing part where we show all the licenses of all the packages. That's pretty neat. I really like that. And we can do all of this kind of stuff. But now let's try to migrate this package. If we go back to, we can remove that. This can be gone, or can be gone. And I guess we want to stick here. Migrating to null safety. We have the possibility to use a migration tool, and I also can share that with you. Up, like so. Up. I'm not used to the Mac anymore. Up. I have to work more often with it. I'm currently a Windows user. So, all right, so here we are, and we have the possibility to just use Dart pub outdated. This will check all the packages to find null safety packages, I guess, and then we can execute Dart migrate. So use the latest 12 beta release. I guess we do already, right? So if I'm looking here again at Flutter Doctor, just in case, then we see we are on the channel beta. That's good. And now let's try to upgrade to pub outdated with the null safety flag. And I'm really curious, so which packages do we have at the moment? I think I used very plain project. Kubernetes makes sense. SQL Flight, so we use that. Could be also Hive. I think we can change that maybe in the future. Charts for Flutter. Flutter Progress, HUD, Provider, Intel package, and Shared Preferences, as well as Get It. So let's see what we do with pub outdated. So package doesn't exist. The Flutter SDK is not available. Okay, what? This is an app. This is a real app in my case. Hey KS, nice to see you. So this is interesting. Package doesn't exist. The Flutter SDK is not available. Yeah, sure, makes sense. We want to execute Flutter pub outdated mode null safety. So whenever you are in a Flutter package, you have to execute Flutter in front of it. It's of course a mistake here. So what do we see? Interesting. So indicates version without null safety support. Okay, so everything with an X doesn't have a null safety support. Indicates version opting into null safety. Okay, so we have some packages that don't have null safety, for example charts Flutter, and there's the latest version, so it doesn't get updated yet, so maybe we have to remove that. And what we can see is Flutter Progress HUD has the same problem. We have Get It, which has a null safety part. We have Intel, we have Provider with null safety, Shared Preferences. Oh, that is interesting. How can that be that Shared Preferences does not have null safety? Then Build Runner and Mockito. Okay. So I guess we cannot easily upgrade to null safety in our case. At least I guess that. So to make sure all dependencies are null safe and up to date, start the migration tool. So now we cannot migrate at the moment. So we have to find solutions for that. So we have to remove, for example, charts Flutter. Let's see if we can do that, or if we find a package that is relevant and maybe with null safety. And is there anything open? So it has a lot of likes, and it's also, maybe we have already something here. Let's search for null issue. Or null safety maybe? No. Whoop. Then the next question would be, it's from Google Charts? Ah, all right. But it has since 10 months no update. Let's see in the insights if it's still supported. Not really. Since April. So as always, there are then two options if you see such package. You could first create your pull requests and work with it, but as you see, there are 16 pull requests open. And it seems since 13th of May, Is there a reason that they don't get closed? I signed it, review required. No. So at the moment this package looks a little bit dead. Interesting. So why? Is there a reason for that? No, it seems not supported at the moment. Okay, so I guess what we could do is talk with these guys and try to figure out how to contribute to it. It's a little bit sad. Pub.dev, so what could we use else as charts? A new Flutter project with the name charts. No, I don't think so. Syncfusion, but they are pricey, I guess. You have to buy them, right? Or can you use them for free? Table of content, about Syncfusion, support and feedback. Which license they have? They are unknown licensed. Yeah, so you have to buy it, I guess, before you use it. Other useful links, getting started. Founded in 2011. Today we provide. Yep, they provide a lot. But I don't know if it's free for use, so I wouldn't recommend that if the license is unknown. Null errors, got to love them. I tried to get rid of them. Flutter Sparkline. Oh, okay. So it is just the Sparkline tooling. Okay. Okay, but that is very interesting. Flutter charts library written with Dart and Flutter. Is there any way can you use the supports null safety and we have only the supercharged Dart? What is supercharged Dart? Okay, that looks like extension methods and has nothing to do with charts. Okay, so at the moment there is no chart tooling. Maybe that could be a good first project for us, that we create a chart tooling. But I'm curious. That really means that the old package from this guy here is not supported? Huh. 2 days ago, 4 days ago, 6 days ago. Okay, so the issues are raising, but it seems that nobody really cares about it. Okay, I have to admit I'm not a big fan of that. 28th of February, that means really since 1 year there's nothing happened. Are there other? No, not really. Okay, but good to know. So for me, I will make myself a to-do. Why don't I have... Okay, let's create a node. No, that's too much. I thought I have Microsoft To-Dos installed or not. To-do. Yeah, here we go. They are paid, yeah, they are paid, but I think they are working all on the Flutter project at the moment. Or here, this guy. Oh. Okay, let's search a to-do tool. GitHub, yeah, just one. Too complicated. Oh. So let's search for to do, and one would be to write the Google chart people future of the package. So this is Google. So yeah, because in the worst case they don't answer, but in the best case we get an information why or how the future of this package looks like, because it's nice that most of the stuff is working, but if we cannot migrate to null safety, that would be a shame, I guess. Okay, next package. So what do we see else? Then we have the Cupertino that works with 1.1 something. That's good. So we can just upgrade that package. Then Flutter Progress HUD. What is the Flutter Progress HUD in the first place? I cannot remember anymore. It's just a loading spinner. All right. The question is, do we actually need it? I guess it's just something that shows the progress bar. That's it. I guess we can create something like that ourselves very quickly. And I have the feeling that this package actually is not supported anymore. Yeah. What is the period? 1 month? No, nothing. Okay, so you can see this is what happens if you are relying on dependency that are not anymore supported. Then you get all these problems here. So shared preferences. This is one that I find interesting because I thought this would be a standard Flutter favorite, and actually I thought they would be very fast with upgrading that stuff. Hey Supash, how are you doing? So we have 400 contributors, we have 300 pull requests, and it is inside of the Flutter project, and merge null safety plugins. Okay, what happens here? URL launcher. Alright, so all the plugins from Flutter are getting currently a pull request with all the null safety parts. So let's have a look how this will look like. That are a lot of commits, as you can see, and I guess if we're searching for our one, which will be, what was the package? Shared preferences, I guess. No, it's not part of it until now, I guess. Branch master into, bump SDK version, path provider. Connectivity, yeah. Wow, that will be a pull request, a nightmare. Experiment non-nullable analysis options, okay. Okay, so this will also take some time, I guess, till this is inside. Last commit is 2 days ago. Are there any ideas? Do squash? Yeah, please. So everyone is happy with the code, it seems, but it's not merged yet. Because the build APKs, okay, so there seems to be a build issue still. Huh. Interesting. Okay, but that means more or less that our app is currently not migratable, I guess. Or? So what happens if I run pub upgrade just to get the newest packages everywhere? I guess I read something that we have to remove the sound null safety if we want to have packages that are null safety and some that are not. So migrate Flutter null safety with not null safe packages. I don't know. No, this is just the update. So what I guess is if I now enter dart migrate, that everything will break or not work. So let's just try it. wait for the packages that you depend on to migrate. Okay, so I need to help or migrating code in order with the leaves of the dependency graph being migrated first. For example, if package C depends on package B, which depends on package A, then A should be migrated to null safety first. Yeah, so I guess our one will not be possible. We see a lot of updates. Bad state error. Package has unmigrated dependency. Before migrating your package, we're recommending ensuring that every library it imports has been migrated to null safety, so that you will be able to run your unit tests in sound null safety checking mode. Okay, that is a little bit disappointing, but all right. What does this mean? We cannot upgrade this package yet. At least not without checking the other packages. nnbd test. So what I would like to do, it actually is, must be available, yeah. Test. So we create that one and finish. This window, terminate. So this is our default package, right? And now I would like to migrate this package to .null safety because we don't have any dependencies. It should work like a charm, right? I guess this is what the minimum that I would like to see from a .migrate execution. But let's have a look. So we remove all this stuff here. We don't need comments. So fantastic. And now let's go to the terminal and say dart migrate. So let's check the packages, but here there should be just a Cupertino and oh. So what happened now? No analysis issue found. Okay, we can calculate, that works, or view the migration suggestion by visiting something. Use this interactive web view to review, improve, or apply the results. What is happening? Oh, nice. So here we see now the different possibilities that we can have. So you can see the key here can be null at the moment, so that's adding these question marks in front of it. And here the widget title could be null, but we say when we use that text widget, we have to have here some value. So as you see, this here is null possible, and down here it is not anymore. All right. So, and in the test, yeah, well, I don't really have a test here. So yeah, apply migration, I would say. And with that, inside of Android Studio, use rerun from, so if you make edits outside of the web view in your, okay. But this would mean that inside of our Git repository or our commit possibility, probably I don't have a repository yet, so yeah, I'm not able to. Hey Robert, and that's interesting. Okay, so did it do it now? I'm not completely sure. So we applied the migration, that happened. So that means inside of our homepage, we will have now the possibility to see that, right? Yeah, so here we have now our question mark. Fantastic. So, and what this means is actually this has a question mark, but why is the question? I would like to have this. The parameter title can't have a value of null because of its type. And no null default value is provided. Try adding either default value of the required modifier. Okay, so now I'm confused. Does the question mark mean we can do a null, or does it mean we cannot do a null? If I remove it, then this one is complaining the parameter title can't have the value null because of its type, and a non-null default value is provided. Okay, so it could be null, right? If I don't enter here anything, or if I even enter here null, then this guy will run here. But now we get here errors. Can't be assigned parameter type string. So, because it is a named parameter, right? And it the compiler cannot know if this name parameter is empty. So this would work. So the question mark defines that it could be null in some circumstances. So if I make here a question mark, this should work. But if I remove that and I would maybe say this title up here, and I would bring that into not the name parameter, but in the in this parameter, then we have to change this, of course. Now it's like the text widget, right? So now it is non-nullable. And down here, we don't need the exclamation mark anymore because we know it cannot be null. It's impossible. No, I didn't buy an M1 Mac yet. Hey Mo, nice to see you. And yeah, you should really add the comment. Yeah, absolutely, because that sounds like a very good idea actually. And I guess I watched a video from Philip who also said that whenever you use an exclamation mark, it feels already like an anti-pattern. So try to explain the question why there is an exclamation mark. So this could possibly be null or something. So, and there is also another thing that where you want to try to avoid exclamation marks as much as possible, and this comes from CSS, so the important flag, if you know that. And when you come from the web part, you know this guy, and this is usually a very bad idea, and you try to not do it in 80% of the times. Even more, I guess, in 100% of the times. I guess you really don't need important. It's only if you want to do very ugly stuff. But yeah, so if you want to, or if you have to use it, then explain why you're doing it. So in my case, I stick with the first solution, I guess, that I don't even want that it can be null, because why? It's not necessary actually. So we can remove that, we bring this up in front, and everything works as expected. The thing is, now it's impossible to enter a null value inside of the text here. Whoops. And down here, why is this red now? The argument type string question mark. Yep. Have to remove that. Okay. All right, so do we have some typical issues with null that we can use? So for example, if I would like to create a method, right? So I create a method, like a void test method, and I give here inside a string like t, right? Now here inside I can be sure that I don't have to check anymore, right? So I don't have to do something like this, null, and I guess I get even a compiler error because it cannot be null. It's impossible to make it null. So that is pretty cool. It's always false, so you can remove that stuff. You don't need that. Require this title. Yep. Okay. With required, you would do the same. Is it understood by the null safety? I would say it's not possible because required is just a hint or not. So if I bring all that in again and this, and now I would say here with the required. This is the new keyword, right? That is not the add required anymore that we had before, like this. It is now an own keyword, and that makes sense. So if this is empty now, yeah, okay, I got it. This also comes with the new, the new keyword. Fantastic. So this comes with the null safety too, so that would be the best option, I guess. Good to know. I really like that. So, and this one can be null and is also null because we don't really use it. Okay, but back to our method, right? Test method. So if we have the test here, and we say something like if test equals null, then it should complain because it's always null. It's always not null, it's always false. And this is good. Does it also understand asserts? So because a lot of people make asserts like I, so is null? Yeah, no, it's directly wrong. Avoid using unnecessary statements. Yeah, okay, got it. Another thing that we could do is make a question mark in front of it, right? But we should avoid that, I guess. So if we now say if test equals null, it should be happy, right? Yeah. So because we say with this question mark, this part could be null in any case. Is it? We have also the possibility to make named parameters here, right? So if I enter something like this, can I also use the new keyword required? Yeah. Ah, but this time he ignores that. Interesting. Okay, so we have to be a bit careful here, but that's all right. I think that makes sense. So let's stick with the default one. Cool. But that means because a lot of packages have not migrated yet, we cannot really use null safety in that case. What I would like to take a look into is the my buy me a coffee package that I have on GitHub. Me a coffee. Let's see if I find that. All information. Okay, maybe I should add Flutter. Here we go. And if I copy that, bring it over here. This project, fantastic. So, how many do we have here? Do we have a possibility to upgrade here? We have also the URL launcher and Google Fonts, and I guess the URL launcher is not yet migrated, so we will not be possible to migrate. How can we? That was pub Flutter. How was the check for migration? Preferring using interactive tools. Yep. So Flutter channel beta, IAM, Dart, pub, outdated mode, null safety, and we add Flutter in front of it. Or not. Ah, no. Oh. Okay, so the Google Fonts package is currently not possible to go to null safety. But you know what? Actually, we don't really need that. Interesting enough, the URL launcher is already null safe. So we can remove the Google Fonts, and I guess we have maybe a problem somewhere inside of... yeah, we get the dependencies first. Okay, so let's see if we can migrate our package. And here we have only one situation where we use the Google Fonts, where we use this cookie font. And actually what we could do is... So in the background, yep, we can try that in a second. I just want to do that. So I want to get rid of the Google Fonts package. So add font to Flutter. Use a custom font, and I think we can download it with that. Yep. So here we will download the Google fonts.google.com. I guess that was the correct site. Yep. We search for the cookie. That will be this one. We download the family. Yep. And inside of this package, we have all this cookie regular TTF. And what I will do is I will add that here inside. We have the lib folder. This is our package. Here we have themes. But what I would like to do is getting it from the assets. So, and here we add new directory fonts. And inside of here, we have our font. Good. The regular TFF. All right, so let's get the naming. And what we have learned is here, the awesome app fonts, and then this TFF. Okay, so family, railway. Just copy that, I guess. Okay, so we go to our pubspec.yaml. Down here, and here we have our Flutter part, and we could even download it here. So bring it in, and now we remove all the comments, and the name will be good. Why is it yellow? What's the problem? To be a map. What? Ah, okay, so fonts is missing. Up. Flutter fonts, and then all of these are underneath of that. So, and the family will be cookie. Guess this is the name of the package, right? Yep, cookie. And then we search for the asset. This is in fonts, and then we have cookie regular TFF. Don't need that, and the style we don't need either. Will that work? This is now just in the fonts folder. I don't know. Let's see. And inside of here, we will not have this fancy stuff. We will have a text style. And here we can set the font family, which will be a cookie. And we add all the stuff that we had before, like so. Good, and then we can remove the Google font dependency. Especially it makes sense anyway, because we just need that one font. What is this? This is the copyright. I guess it makes sense to add that. So we have that now in our repository. And let's see if we can now migrate. So we execute once more the styled night safety. Okay, we got the two packages, and now we can execute. Is locked to an older version. To update it, use pub upgrade. Okay. So we pub upgrade. The Flutter SDK is not available. Okay, so let's try it with Flutter in front of it. Okay, so check out the YAML file if we have now updated versions. No, unfortunately not. This takes that makes sense. Huh, okay, interesting. It doesn't upgrade the packages. Why? According to that, they are upgradable, resolvable, and latest. Flutter pub get. Added the pubspec.yaml. Okay, so let's update that. So we copy the two lines here, get this into it, Flutter SVG, whoop, and I keep that circumflex in front of it. That was very French, sorry for that. And we get the other one. Voila. And let's see if we can pub get. Okay, and now let's migrate again. So what was the command? Flutter test, Flutter drive. No, this is something else. Okay. So where are we? Up here, null safety preview migration. So we did that, we upgraded. Update dependencies, run pub upgrade, migrate. Use the migration tool. We did that. And for that we use just dart migrate. Okay, let's see. And then we can try that with the comment, Robert. But thank you for the hint. I'm really curious how this will look like. Use the interactive web view. Yep, let's go. So we see we have some parts here, and if I click now on, oh, we removed the required here. So okay, cool. So here we have the exclamation mark, for example, and up here we have the possibility to add more information to it. So add a question mark hint or exclamation mark hint. So we can add here a hint. Ah, it's just the information that there is a... Ah, all right. Can I revert that? Okay. But is it just good enough that we make this hint to it? Yeah, revert from the own code, okay. Then we have the themes here with all the question marks. But why can they be null is the question. Ah, okay, so with the hint it will remove that. Okay. I'm curious what happens now when I added these two things. We'll remove both of them. Oh no, I can't even rerun the migration. Rerun with changes. Let's see. Ooh. Okay, one of them getting removed. Okay, I see. Require this theme, okay. Okay, but now let's try to apply this migration. Okay, we did now. So we updated here to the beta version. We can see now here we get the newest version. And these null checks should go away or not. I guess this makes no sense anymore. We can remove that. I think it got a little bit confused by the whole hints that I created. We can remove that. Oh, that's not a question anymore. Ah, no. I made a mistake. The theme can be null, so that is the problem. Okay, what I will do, I hope I have the commit up here. Yeah, so I keep that lock can be played, the pub spec can be there still. Yep. But these two files I want to roll back. Load file. Good. So, and now we rerun the dart migration. Hopefully this still works. Hey Nicole, nice to see you. Migration didn't start due to analyze errors. Okay, what happened? Ah, okay, we got that back again. Okay, so I guess I have to restart the whole thing once more. We kept this, and now probably... Oof. So we wanted to get this part, we removed that part. Not good. I guess we have to restart the whole process once more. I would just copy the part with the font that I don't will miss that. So, but I guess all the other parts can be rolled back. Yeah, it took me a while to get the courage back to start a little bit of live streaming, but here I am. Ah, will that work? Oh, that would be great. So if I remove that. Okay, so let's see if I go into the project. Pub-get. .o maybe. The current Dart SDK version is because okay, Okay. So that means we need this, no, this, and then 2.1 was it, right? If I saw that correctly. So let's try if we can get that. And then we say git compare with branch master. Then we want to get this part. This can stay the same. I don't know what this is. Pubspec.yaml. I guess I made a copy problem here somehow. I guess this would be correct. And the cookie part we keep. All right. So we take that. Text style. Font family is cookie. And we add the other parts. Fair enough. Get dependencies. Good. Google Fonts can be removed. Fair enough. And down here we have a red readme. Okay. So Dart analyzes document all public members. It's gone. Publishable package can't have path dependency. Oh no, that's all right. That is because the example should depend on our lib down here. Okay, and with that we try again to Dart migrate. Yeah, we managed it with the Dart version, I guess. So, all right. So what I've learned now, the themes can be null, right? Because down here it could be that we create our own theme for that. Is that so? If theme is not null, then color's white. Can theme be null? Theme background color, we go into the buy me a coffee widget with this theme. And this guy has to need a theme. In my opinion, we cannot create one without a theme. In the worst case, we have to create our own one. This is public, so everyone can access it and create it. Can this be null then? Okay, I'm working a little bit with null safety at the moment and try to migrate one of my packages, the buy me a coffee widget, into null safety. And I will go further in a second. I have to go to the bathroom very quickly. We'll see us in a second. Okay, so turn on the light, going back to this one. Fantastic. Hello. All right. So now let's read a little bit, because I guess this was my mistake at the first time. I don't really check what I will do with all this stuff. So purposed edits, free null checks edited. Okay, so we have, for example, in line 49, we added a non-null assertion to nullable expression. So we said this theme could be null. Added a nullable to nullable expression. Okay. One required keyword added at line 42. So that means a sponsor ID is required. And hey, Harry, nice to see you. And Stefan, I think you have a very good idea with the fallback theme. We can do that in a second, or we can try that in a second. So what do we have else? Then change type text style to be nullable. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, overrides the text style of the widget. So can this be nullable, and when yes, why? I would say if you create this, then you would need to have a text style. So change type text style to be nullable. Nullability reasons. So there are reasons that this can be null. So for example, this guy. Where is that? This is in Buy Me a Coffee widget, line 20. So here it could be null, okay. Down here it can be null. Okay. So I guess what we would like to have is actually to make this one required, or? So and what do I do with these hints? These are actions, add a hint, but why should I do that? So do we get an information in the null safety documentation up migrating here? So we have that, and now let's read a little bit. So understanding migration results. To see the reason for each change or non-change, click its line number in the proposed edits. The reasons appear in the edit details pane. Okay. Aha, improving migration results. When analyzers infers the wrong nullability, you can override its proposed edits by inserting temporary hint markers. In the edit details pane of the migration tool, you can insert a hint markers using add hint and add hint button. Add comments to your file immediately and there is no undo. Okay, if you don't want to hint that the tool inserted, you can use your usual code editor to remove it. Okay. All right. To add hint markers even while the tool is still running, because your code hasn't opted into null safety yet. You can't use new null safety features. You can, however, make changes like refactoring that don't depend on null safety features. When you have finished editing your code, click rerun from resource. To migrate code casting expression to its underlying non-nullable type, adds an exclamation mark to the migrated code casting expressions to its underlying non-nullable type. Marks type as non-nullable. Marks the preceding type as nullable. Marks the variable declared as late. Marks the parameter as required. Okay. So that means with these different marks, we mark it really. So in the migration, it will be then non-nullable. So if I see this, for example, and I don't know if I can select this, if I add the line number, no. Add the required hint, add required keyword to parameter sponsor ID and buy me a coffee, non-nullable reason, no reason found to make nullable. Okay. So this one is not nullable. This one is not nullable because it always gets a default value. So the text style is required in my opinion. So if I press this question mark, I can say now this is nullable, then we stick with the question mark, but I can also try it with the exclamation mark. And now it is not nullable anymore. And if we then apply the migration, it tries to change that behavior. Why do we have a specific background color? I thought it's part of the theme. Theme null. Because, yeah, okay, makes sense. Because the theme is nullable. It could be that we don't provide a theme and we just create it ourselves. So then we have our background, and I say this is not nullable too. Maybe it's not best implemented. So we can now rerun and see the changes, and let's see if something changes now with that. So we remove that, and we remove the question marks, and as you see, we have now these required flags. Hey Minu, no problem. So with these required flags, we have now the possibility that nothing of that is anymore nullable. And this one is a very curious one. Why is it null? The offset could be null in our case. Huh. Somewhere internally in geometry.dart could it be null? Interesting. In the box shadow. Okay, so let's try to make that exclamation mark. Let's see what happens there. And this guy, can the theme be nullable? I think it can be nullable at the moment. So I will try that and rerun the changes. Let's see what happens. Yeah, so this works still the same because theme could be null. We still have the exclamation mark, and here this exclamation mark stays too. But at the end, this should work now. And this is just a widget. So let's check out the theme. If we create a theme, is it possible that these things are nullable? Because if we create a new theme, I guess they have to be added. Hey Mino, okay, so what do? We create, or we work currently on the Buy Me a Coffee widget that I have, and we want to make it null safe. And I'm currently just trying a little bit around how it works and so on. And so we use this nice little editor. I think I can make it even a bit bigger. I forgot about that. And in this nice little editor that we get when we run Dart migrate, we can execute things like, is it nullable, is it not nullable, and so on. Really? What? CodeStacker is a great guy, really. What is it here? Channel, Ultimate Guide, Web Development, really? I didn't know that. This needs to be this one, right? I didn't read it yet. How the internet works, basic tools, browser text editor, HTML, CSS. It's just interesting that I'm not really a web dev, or not in the Flutter and YouTube channel, right? So, oh, you're right. And the robot is also here, and Tadas, nice. He really found the good ones. And also someone for React Native. I really like that he also thought about these guys. Robert and Tadas. What is that sound? Some subscriber. Hey, Chinese letters. Fantastic. Yeah, cool. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't know that. I have to bookmark that actually. Forgot about that. Want to read that in deep. Okay, but back to our topic. We want to make this nullable or non-nullable. So how can we do that? In my opinion, whenever we create a Buy Me a Coffee theme, it wouldn't make sense to have that nullable. So if we want to create it, both of them shouldn't be nullable. And if we do that, we rerun our changes. Yeah, I think that makes more sense, or? So it looks also way better with all these empty spaces here. Cool. Okay, so... Okay, loud cars in front of the window. Okay, so we have the text style, we have the background color, this is done, we have some requireds, and now let's check if the apply migration works. Go for it. So I guess we can close this window now, go back here, we can cut off this part. All right, the theme looks a bit off. Oh, we get some reds, non-nullable instance must be initialized. Okay. This is the class, and if we create that, we need now a fallback, right? It's like we got as an idea. This is an interface for all themes for, okay. So these are the themes, and this is actually not a class, this is an abstract class. Could that be? Okay, so what is wrong? Okay, even with the abstract, it needs to have a color at least. So if I make that, I don't know, just very basic with color black. No, this doesn't work. Ah. Or mark it as late. Hey, Tech with Dinish, how are you? So what does late do? Never seen the late comment. So where late marks the variable declaration as late indicates that it has a late initialization. So, okay. So because whenever, this is just an abstract class that implements all the different themes so that we have like, okay, they need to have a background color, they need to have a text color. So I guess late makes sense in that case because they get separated. Nobody will actually initialize this one, right? So it cannot be null. All right, so here it looks quite possible. So let's start up our test, and I'm really curious if this still works. We're upgrading the project. Pod install is out of date again. Okay, that's good to know. Let's close that. I guess we have the rm command somewhere. So rm iOS. It will be in the examples, and then rm iOS pod file. Good. And now let's restart that. Exactly, but I'm not sure if this is absolutely true in that case, right? Because late will be later, but the problem is that this one is just an abstraction, right? I never want to implement this anyway. It's just the parts down here that I want to implement. And I guess this makes then sense to declare them as late because these guys actually are the implementation of them. So if we check the example where we actually execute that, we have this buy me a coffee widget. I destroyed it in the wrong way. Because we have these themes, as you can see, and I add the theme. So if the theme is inside, we don't want to have the required text style and background. So this is wrong and this is wrong, and they are actually nullable. So this was a question mark and here was a question mark, I guess. So now they are getting red again. So my migration went wrong. Non-nullable type is provided, okay. what does that mean now? Not on the variable, it's on that part here. And this can be removed. So, and now this getting green, and down here it makes sense now again. Okay. All right, but sometimes we use the theme, and the theme is used differently, right? Yeah, I guess my implementation could be better. So something like you have to provide a theme if you want to use that, and that text style and background color is not really set. Oh, no worries, Stefan, all good. I mean, you're writing from a tablet, I guess, right? So it's always a bit hicky. From the phone even, okay, it's even harder. Deployment target 8, but the range for deployment, okay. I guess I can ignore them yet. Unable to locate asset entry in pubspec.yaml. Okay, that sounds like a good issue. So he cannot find this because assets is missing, most likely pubget. Thank you. It's a new shirt. I got it yesterday. So very happy with the yellow. And I have also another one which is orange, which I also really like. Okay, so let's see. Can we start now the application? The funny thing is the other stuff that I had before was all like 1 year ago and made the world travel with us. So they getting very old and also flattery and destroyed everything and so on. So I'm very happy that I have new clothes after 3 years of something. Okay, so we see a broken widget. I guess because the font couldn't be loaded. The reason is unclear for me, but this is the reason. So the font family is cookie, we have that. And the render flex is overloaded. Can we change the colors? Yeah, that still works, that's good. Huh, okay, but the render flex is broken. Where is the font set actually? I guess that was down here, right? So font family cookie, and this doesn't work. Use custom font. Okay, we have this. The family takes the name. Okay. Do we have that done correctly? Let's check the pubspec.yaml. And I guess yes, we did that correctly. And then fonts with the asset, yeah. Oh, absolutely Flutter. I know Electron is very stable, I guess. They work now longer. I have not worked with Electron like a crazy amount of time, so probably they have like created new packages and updates and everything. Wow, version 12 already, okay. I guess a lot of toolings that you have locally created with it are very good. So for example, Visual Studio Code, I mean, yeah. But at the moment, I'm so much into Flutter, and especially the cross-platform works so fancy and you don't have to mess with JavaScript. So yeah, my version would go to definitely for Flutter at the moment. A render flex, and it would be good to have some tools, I think, in Flutter. So if you create something for desktop and maybe make it popular and sell it and everything, I guess you will get a lot of attention from everyone. So a render flex overflowed by 70 pixels. Okay, so why did my font not getting used? I think I had that problem once again, and the problem was that I couldn't get the assets. I want to access the assets folder, and as you see, we have the GIF here. And I think I wanted to do the same thing for colors and the problem for an image that I wanted to load. And I guess the problem is that we have to get the stuff from the assets folder. And as a package, it is very hard to access that. So use the font in a specific widget text style. I had that problem already. I wanted to work on that. So the question is, we have a package and asset folder. Packages, package A, images, sample photo. Asset images in package dependencies. To load an image from a package dependency, the package argument must be provided to the asset image. Is specific in the pubspec YAML file of the package. It's bundled automatically with the application. In particular, assets used by the package itself must be specified in its pubspec.yaml. A package can also choose to have assets in its lib folder that are not specified in its pubspec.yaml file. In this case, for those images to be bundled, the application has to specify which ones to include. But if I read that correctly, I would assume that the font should be bundled correctly. Because the Google Fonts package is currently not available with null safety, unfortunate. So I thought to remove that. But now the question is, we cannot access these assets folder, or it seems like that, because the font looks completely off here. And the thing is that I don't know if the lib, we have the themes, we have the example. And I guess this example should use now the font from the child, so from this one. I guess this is not the problem. Weird. Slash fonts in front of it? Ah, you mean just like that? I can do that. Pub get. Pub restart. No, didn't work. So this is working. We have the centered widget of container. Why does it have a specific width? Yeah, let's do it like that. I guess that makes more sense. And then give it a padding, I guess, right? Like padding, edge, inset, only, what was the name? Symmetric. And this is horizontal and this is vertical, so horizontal 10. Yeah. Okay, now it has at least enough space to breathe, so that should do the trick. The only problem that I currently have is that works well, so if I click, that works also. Oh, good to know, my sponsor ID is damaged, so maybe also something that I can upgrade. So buy me a coffee. Log in quickly. And what is my page? I don't even know where the thing is. Settings. My page? Ah, here we go. Ah, just Flutter explained. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, now it works. Yeah, I'm really happy with WebAssembly, I have to admit. I have no idea because Flutter is currently not really stable in web. One of my favorite things that I can show for that is if you go to CodePen and just open any Flutter project with Firefox, you will see such a decrease in performance that is crazy. And I don't know if there is a better solution for that. I could check for the Flutter explained.code magic, I guess. Yeah. So here we have the Flutter website that we created once. And I guess what we can do is downloading that as an WASP, right? It's not even possible with Firefox. I guess on Google Chrome it was possible, right? So here I can get that as a web app. Yeah, so we can install that. And now it works like that inside of our browser. But even here you have some performance disadvantages at the moment. So I'm not sure if the performance is as good in web at the moment as in, for example, the desktop. Performance of Flutter is just ridiculously good. Thank you, Akash. You are more than welcome. I'm really happy that you like it. Okay. What is that? Sortedstorage.com. What is sorted storage? Sortedstorage.com. I should write that correctly, I guess. Now I'm in Chrome, I guess. So here the performance is always pretty good. But if we check it here, oh, it's also pretty okay, I guess. Is this Flutter? Just to make sure. Yep, Flutter class pane. Okay, so this is actually Flutter. Yeah, maybe it's up, but I think the Flutter explained website that I created was also with profiling mode. Yeah, and I don't know, it feels a bit sluggy. I don't know why this is the case. I think there was also a fantastic website on Twitter the other day, and unfortunately I forgot who created it, but he had made a lot of circles in the background and so on, and my computer with Firefox was completely crashing. So this is the only disadvantage that Flutter at the moment has, that it doesn't support all browsers in the way it should do it, because that is really like a killer for a lot of web applications at the moment, unfortunately. Okay, but long talk. What do we do with this guy now? Yeah, if we cannot use Google Fonts, it's getting difficult, I guess. And this guy, why is he complaining? Because all of that could be null, or? So function on tab cannot be null. This is required, I guess. So document all, yeah, this is something else. Void function, so you are not a function, you are a void callback. Now this is green. Required isn't a type. Okay, the example app is not nullable yet. So, okay. So here we have also to migrate, I guess. Yeah, Next.js is great, and I think the other thing is Nuxt. I think Nuxt was also a cool thing. Yeah, and the CEO is also a problem. That is also the reason why the current Flutter Explained website is done with WordPress at the end. Yeah, and now here we get all the infos. Yep, we apply the migration. We are happy with it and get going. So are we back in business? Are we happy with all that? Get dependencies. We have now updated. And yeah, this should be documented. Okay, I get it. We don't have done that. So actually this guy, theme selector, should be documented. To do, yeah. So this is the on-tab method. How can this be null? I guess we have to create this. I think I made there a mistake again, but when we create this guy, theme selector, I think I don't need to document them actually, because they are just for the example. So I guess I don't need that. And I would rather add something like a suppress of that. Okay, but why? I would say this shouldn't be nullable in my opinion. So, and now they say they have to be, the parameter on tab can't have a value of null because of its type, and the non-null value is provided. Try adding either a default value or the required. I tried that seconds ago. Okay, now he's happy. Fantastic. All right, so yeah, and I removed them. Let's keep it yellow. Good. So with that, we are non-nullable, I guess. So changelog, we add a new version here. First release, blah, blah, blah. This guy. I have the feeling that I do that in the wrong order, right? So, and this guy should be null safety .1. So the version here gets the version 1.1, null safety 1. All right. So we have the changelog. We need the version here. Today is the 14th December 2020. Added null or migrated to null safety. Removed Google Fonts. Currently default font or Roboto is used. Provide own font. Okay, so and for the future, I would like to, yeah, that stays like it. And for the future, I would like to add a to-do because I will forget about that. So here, to-do, add Google Fonts as soon as null safety migration has been done. Cool. So, all right, now I need your help for this afternoon. I have this done, so we have done this. The changelog is getting a bit crazy, okay, can understand that. So package change log. Just want to take a look how this should do, or if we want to have the newest version on top or on the bottom. Flutter package. Using packages, no, developing a package. And here we have the change log somewhere. Yep. Okay, we don't get so much information. So what I will do is I go to pub.dev and search for a package that I like, for example, get it. And he creates a change log and he puts it on top. So we will do the same. So this guy actually has to be on the top. And then this is the very first change log, so it will be on the bottom. Then this one comes, then version 1.0, something like that. Makes more sense. Hey Amish, nice to see you. Oh, good point. Dip. So, is Android Studio much better to use for Flutter apps compared to Visual Studio Code? No, much better not. It's just the client or the IDE that I'm used to, and that's why I'm using it mostly. But actually Visual Studio Code is very, very good integrated with Flutter, and it will not use so much resources. So if you have a weaker PC, you are most likely happier with Visual Studio Code. For me, IntelliJ or Android Studio Code has the benefit that it is very well integrated with Git. It has a lot of smarts with code replacements and reducing and register other things. If you want to create methods, you are way faster with IntelliJ than with Visual Studio Code, and so on and so forth. And that's why I'm using it mostly. So there is like a believing war in these two things. So you have to get into yourself and check out what best works for yourself. Good. So this has been done. Null safety. Good. So what this is, yeah, so we currently use the default font. This is a small bug. We have to fix that in the future, but that's fine. I think I can live with that. So what we will do is creating a new branch, md-weber, and we add here migrate to null safety. Good, we push all that. So I think all of that is necessary. Null safety. We commit. You are about to commit CLFI, blah blah blah. It is recommended to use set the. Okay, if you choose fix and commit. Yeah, fix and commit. So we review. Pubspec YAML has been edited. Yep, that's good. The changelog. It complains that it doesn't have a headline, so like this change log. I hope that Flutter will still recognize it with that. This should be done and published. This is a bit weird because this path variable is important. Publishable packages can't have a path. I think this one is just odd. Can just ignore it. You're most welcome. Cool, so we have safety, and I wrote safety wrong as always. Safety. Okay, have to learn that. And we commit the whole thing. We review one last time. Looks all good. Commit, and we commit again. And now we push the whole thing. Good, and now let's check out our GitHub repository. Here we go. Maybe a Flutter web ready, that's also another thing that we have to do, but here we want to migrate to null safety. Good. yeah, finished migration to Dart null safety, or NBNM is the name, I think. Null safety Flutter NBMD or something, I don't remember. Is there a name? Statically analyze start pub get, okay, test start test, publish. So set the SDK constraints to the tested beta version. We encourage you to publish packages as pre-release as soon as you migrate. Set the package version to indicate a break, change, and include a null safety suffix. Okay, okay. Let's see what we have to do. Which backend framework? That's the perfect thing about backend things. They don't really matter in kinds of Flutter and Dart, because Flutter is just the front end layer. So if we use, can I draw somewhere? Draw IO pencil. My favorite. No? Okay, then draw IO. Let's have it here. So I guess this guy. Authorize. Okay, I have to. Can I draw in nodes? Never tried it, but okay, one node. New section, let's call it. I guess I could even create a new one. Yeah, something like that. New section, this is now YouTube, and here we have now like layers. So in Flutter and Dart, or even in every programming parts, you will have like 3 layers. So you can guess like this, then you have another layer, and you usually have another layer. So of course, this is just what usually is the case. So this is a 3-layer architecture. Oh, the whiteboard behind me, I can try that. That would be amazing. Let me do this, then I can fiddle around with my fingers. All right, so I hope you can see it well. I try to push that a bit up, and then let's have a little bit of a classroom section here. Okay, so usually in software development, everything is in layers, and usually you can also come into the different layers. So let's assume a 3-layer architecture. Then you have up here the first layer, and then you have another layer, for example, and a 3rd layer. And the question is now why you even think in the different layer parts. Because what you can do in the future, or what you want to be able to in the future, is to remove one of them and replace it with something else. So what happens if Flutter in 2030 or in 2050 is not anymore the top-notch technology? Then you will replace this front end with something else. So this is your front end layer, usually called. Then you have the backend layer, or this could be also domain layer. I love to call that always domain layer, because this is where your business logic happens. So you develop here, you code, you write your information, your intelligence in your application. Yes, you can see it, perfect. All right, so this is where your intelligence happens in your applications usually. And then we have the last layer. If I swap over to this side, you have your last layer, and this is usually your data layer. So where your data comes from. This could be external services, this could be a database, this could be anything that provides you data. So this is the... But you don't think Flutter will stop being supported? This is just, it could be. You never know, right? Because that is the problem with software. We develop always, right? That's why I'm always saying we use tools in our case. So you want to learn Flutter as one technology, but you need to understand always the core concepts of software engineering, because that is very important. It's not just one little part of it. So this is our data layer. And the funny thing is, so I write that down, and the funny thing is you can drill into each of these packages, like for example front end. And what you could do inside of the front end is you could create your own 3 layers again. So here, usually you talk about the view or screens. Then you have something like services and kind of an API call again. So this is just to give you a hint how it could look like. And now you talk about backend layers. So what would be a perfect backend for your Flutter application? And in general, it doesn't really care, right? You could have here, for example, a Dart Aqueduct technology as a middleware. So you call with your API call here, you call to, for example, Aqueduct. Or you could have like a PHP website that you call. Or what else? You could call everything, right? So you could also write a Dart backend for it. And actually the front end, so your Flutter project, which will be up here because Flutter is pure front end, shouldn't care about what is behind of it. So that means whenever you don't like your backend anymore and you say, I get rid completely of it and I go to something new, you have to just change these API calls here so that you can use your new wonderful backend. So to answer your question, which one will be the best backend, there is not really the perfect answer. You can use everything. You could use something like Storyblock to create your own CMS with a headless CMS. You could use Firebase here behind to have Firebase as a solution. But the problem is you cannot be sure that everything of that is always supported, because I think Firebase will be supported a very long time, but what happens, I don't know. Google is going bankrupt in 300 years, and then you have to replace it with something, right? So as a software engineer, you always try to be flexible about these things, at least as flexible as possible. Of course, this is not always the case. Yeah, so this was the short introduction to architecture. As I said, you have the possibility of 3 layers. There are also 4 layers, 5 layers, and more layers technologies, but all of them are usually in the same way. If you are just a user like I am usually, so you work in the front end, usually you don't really see the back end layer, so you don't have any clue about that. You only get API calls, REST clients, GraphQL information, but you don't really have specific information about the abstraction layer of the backend. So are there questions? Kotlin is Raya, it's so good. Okay, yeah, but Kotlin has another problem. Kotlin is not a sound null safety language. 300 years is too short. Yeah, maybe. This is a 3-layer architecture at the moment, so it's just 3-layer architecture. We won't live for 300 years. Yeah, but your software will, believe me. COBOL is a very famous example for software that's living way too long. I recommend Firebase or AWS Amplify. Yeah, I think all of the cloud solutions are pretty good to use, but this always is dependent on your use case. So for example, I work usually in the banking or also in other very important parts where data privacy is, for example, a very big issue. So if you want to work in Germany, it's getting a bit difficult with Firebase. You have to add so many informations to it and so many problems and cloud things, so it's always something. Do I have thoughts about Kotlin? I really like Kotlin. It's a very good language, but yeah, I cannot say so much to it because usually I'm working in Dart and Flutter at the moment. I have to make a Firebase connected resume. Okay. I don't know how to run that. If you know a solution for that, Hamish, let me know. Okay, fantastic. So I keep that for now, but that's just an idea. Maybe I can also make there a session per se, or maybe just create a video for that. So then we can talk about that a bit more in deep, because architecture is actually one of the biggest topics in software engineering. And usually there is also someone, if you have a Scrum team, then usually you have also a software architect who will decide a lot of things, right? Which technologies, which dependencies, how many layers do we need? How can we abstract the different layers so that they don't really know each other? and so on and so forth. I really like Flutter and Dart. But for me it is for in the most case because I'm coming from a JavaScript perspective. And if you worked a lot with JavaScript, a lot with CSS and HTML, I don't know, after 3 years I got the hint, okay, maybe a typed language would be great. And after a while I found Dart and Flutter, and since then I'm completely sold actually. And I really hope that it gets the success because it's an investment on my side. But actually I'm pretty sure that it will stay a little while, because Flutter, as soon as the web is working very well, and as soon as, for example, the new OS from Google is coming, we will have way more possibilities to implement Flutter in the right way. Has the permission handler been discontinued? My app displayed permission requests without being called. I don't know. Good question. And customer service all respond. Yeah, Google makes it sometimes very hard to love it, I think. Also with YouTube and so on, it's always a bit trickier to talk with the guys. But the community surrounding of Flutter is fantastic. Yeah, so Will, you know exactly how I feel, I guess. As I said, it's just chatting, so I do everything here, so and I think I will have to make a break in a couple of time or in some minutes, and so this is maybe a perfect overtake. But let's finish up quickly our application. Then yeah, we have also this part. Yeah, I really enjoyed it too, so I'm really happy that you also like that, and I'm very happy that I could use my board the first time in my life, I guess, since I make live streams here, so it's also something. Okay, so this is now the case, this is how it works yet, and now I just want to check out how we can publish our app, our package. So SDK constraints, set the lower SDK, we have that done automatically. We added this null safety to it. Update the version to indicate breaking change included. Yep. For example, if you okay, so we have to increase the major version. Okay, so this would be in our case. Let's have a look. Pubspec.yaml. Yep. So this will be a breaking change. Also here we will update the version of the example also to 2.0. You're most welcome, Oscar. I'm really happy that all of you like it so much. So, good. Then we have that. Null safety works. Welcome to null safety. I'm not completely convinced that this is working correctly. As a pre-release version. How do I publish something as a pre-release version? Package version. Updates to the pre-release of the package. Increment the pre-release suffix. Also this null safety that makes this pre-release, that could be. So what I will change here is making this a 0. And in the changelog we have also to change that 0 and the major version update. So. Good. So change the version numbers. You're right, Stefan, and I always completely forget about that. It's still better than to search a tool to write some, to draw something, and then the drawing looks also ugly. Flutter Web is a very good question. As I said, the performance on Firefox and other platforms are currently not that stable. I think in Internet Explorer and Chrome that shouldn't make a difference anymore. But for Firefox it's really a pain at the moment. For desktop, I'm not sure, but desktop is pretty far already. I guess the biggest problem is that a lot of packages and so on that are currently on the web or in general on Flutter are not supporting desktop yet fully. Okay, So with that, and now I want to publish. So where do we publish? Developing a package, implement. I read somewhere that are published during Null Safety Beta can still work with the next stable release of Dart SDK. Okay. Okay. So how does that work with the stable? I'm somewhat afraid that if I'm pushing that now, that it's automatically overriding the version here. So let's see, adding assets, nope. Migrating, nope. Developing packages, and we have the publish your package. Design, these are packages published by variable and you identify. Flutter pub publish dry run, my favorite command. I got so many errors the first time I executed that. So let's try it. No. So flutter pub publish dry run. So the dry run will find errors in our package if something has changed that is not correctly. So you must have a license file in the root directory. An open source license helps ensuring people can legally use it. Do I don't have a license file? I cannot imagine that. Oh, I really don't have one. Oh, this is the example. Oh, here is one. License file in the root of the directory. I'm in the example. That's of course wrong. Let's try it here again. You're about to publish a package that opts into null safety. The previous version 1.01 isn't opt-in. See for best practices. Yes, I know. That's why I want to. Now maybe we first should merge the whole thing. So null safety open. Let's first have a look if everything is working as we expected that. We have the version number here. That's that. Important notes. Cookie. We added that part. Okay, this is the pod file. I think we don't have to change anything here. Project, okay. Pubspec.log, okay, we added the version here. In the example we only added 2.00. Maybe I should also add there the null safety version. So we get this version up here and bring it also in our example. Like so. I think that's better. The next stream, I learned something in the last couple of months, and that is always under promise and over deliver. That means I cannot promise you that there will be a next stream, but I highly think that it will be this afternoon. Else it will be tomorrow. So I cannot promise you anything, but I have currently vacation and I want to stream as much as I can, as much as possibly possible or feasible for me. So I don't promise anything, but it could be that there is more this week. So change the version number of the example. Also something, whenever you work with a team or so, I would highly recommend you to always check your own PR before opening it up. So as you see, I did not open the pull request yet. Oh, I did already actually. But what I also did is I first want to check out myself if the file or all the files that I include are correct. So just browse through it, think about what would be another developer think about your code, and try to argue about everything. So for example, okay, we managed that now, makes sense. So do we have any issues here? Okay, they are not null, that makes sense. All right, we updated here a little bit, that's okay. We have this abstract class, that makes sense. We remove the packages, okay. We have the same version here. We updated the versions of Flutter SVG and URL launcher, that's fine. And that's it. Is there a way to set alarm and give some indication when the countdown is over? Yeah, Dreamer, that's going into the question of how do you call it? Background tasks, I guess. And background tasks are quite difficult thing. And so I guess there is a possible way, but I don't know how, to be honest. Maybe you find something if you search Flutter alarm clock. Yeah, maybe. Look at that, there is someone who created something like that. But is this just a UI or is it also usable? And if it is usable, I highly recommend you to just check out how he did it. Inside of here, he has the views, models, alarm helper, and so on and so forth. So what you can find possibly, alarms.add. What is alarms? This is a database alarm helper. Okay, so let's check. This was the alarm helper. Alarm info to map, alarms, results from map delete. It's a good question. You could check out this one, and if it's working, then you can use it, else just search around. I guess this is usually the best option that you have, that you find GitHub packages that are using it already. Yeah, Hamish, the problem with that is you would need a stable internet connection, right? And I'm not sure if alarm clock, or if I would like that my alarm clock, which is just waiting 15 minutes and then gives me an alarm, uses the internet. I would not allow that on my device, actually. I would not install the app, easy as is. So that's this, and this is not closing. How can I merge it? Ah, yeah, sure. And confirm and merge, go inside of the master. And actually what we can do in the next couple of days when I have the time is create in a GitHub Actions or a Code Magic that would publish now the app as a package. I think that would be fantastic, that we don't have to do this dry run stuff, what I will do now. So we go to master, check out, we get the newest version. Need to drink something. You checked already? Yeah, I think the background tasks will have at least some kind of native development. So if you want to do something like that, probably you will have to make a little bit of development on the device itself. Unable to locate asset entry in pubspec.yet. Nah. Okay, there was a mistake, I guess. So I will now do something that I would not recommend to anyone. I will push directly to master because I'm too lazy to create another pull request for that. All right, so let's have another dry run and let's see what happens here. Yep, we got a hint, and now let's publish that. In the worst case, it doesn't run anymore without null safety. Do you want to publish? Yes. Go to the accounts, log in. I guess it's this one. Successful. Uploading. Uploaded successful. So with that, our package should be now finally pub.dev. Buy me a coffee. And it has a null safety version. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Now we are null safe as possible. And also this changelog works. That's fantastic. We have the examples, repository, and hopefully you will see also the release. What I find interesting, and I guess this is, oh no, the dependency is also removed already. Fantastic. Packages that depend on buy me a coffee, there is none, unfortunate. Cool. So what are the analysis is not yet complete. Fantastic. All right, so I share this link with you. Actually, yes, Hamish, this is a very good idea. I got already the request from someone. I should like my own parts. Why is now this up here? Did I add that somewhere in my package name? Buy me a coffee? No, okay, it's not there. It's just visible. As if I click here, I get the version number up here. All right, I got it. All right. So, what was it? Yeah, the video about GitHub. Yes, what I want to do is actually I want to make in the next year, and also there I don't promise anything, but I have some ideas, and I would take a little bit tackle the general software development techniques. For example, I want to talk about Scrum teams, how they work, why you usually use agile work methodology in normal projects, then how to work with GitHub, or actually how to work with Git in general, because this works and applies to all version control systems that use the technology Git. So don't mix them up. Git is not GitHub. Then the next part would be talking a little bit about architecture. I hear today that this would be as interesting to field for everyone. So yeah, I have plans, but you never know how everything turns out. So stay tuned and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. All right. So we have done that, and I think this was the adventure of null safety, and I guess it was quite useful, at least for me. I learned a lot, and this is very important for myself, and I hope you learned also something today and now. And else, I would say we see us maybe. I make a surprise stream someday or sometime, so let's see when I will be online the next time. And I really hope we see us each other again at that time, and I wish you a blissful Monday morning, or a blissful Monday rest of the day. I think that sounds better. See ya, guys.